Go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Premium Picks. Today we are going to break down UFC 308, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Hamzat Chimaev. First fight of the night, we have got Bruno Silva versus Ismail Naurdiev. Not sure if that's how you say his name. Either way, this fight is a coin flip, I would say. I think both are finishers. Both have the ability to knock each other out. I don't see any submissions here, even though both of them are capable. I don't think that's going to happen. Part of me wanted to stab Bruno Silva as a dog because I don't fully trust Ishmael. I don't trust his level of competition. The problem with Bruno Silva for me is very suspicious gas tank. And if this fight goes any stretch of distance, I think his odds go down and down and down. So I think Bruno has a chance early. If he doesn't get it done by the first half of the fight, that's when I'm going to be very nervous, and I think Ishmael can win the fight. Um, Fuck it, I'll still take Bruno Silva, but it ain't a bet. I'm not betting a guy with bad cardio. What do you think?
Yeah, well, same thing. I can't bet a guy with bad cardio either, man. But Naurdiev, so he had a stint in the UFC before, and all four of those fights went to unanimous decisions, right? So he won two, he lost two. And if Bruno Silva goes to a unanimous decision, or sorry, if Bruno Silva goes to a decision, he tends to lose those decisions because he tends to gas as the fight goes on, right? And I'm not going to say anyone's a better technical striker than anybody else here. It's not like Naurdiev was going crazy with his strikes. He was on max those fights he won. He was throwing between 60 and 70 strikes, which is pretty much what you're going to get from Bruno Silva. I feel like probably the power advantage is on the Silva side. So if you're going to take Silva, take him by knockout. And if you want to go for like the longer it goes, I'd take Naurdiev by decision. But there's a reason this is a pick 'em pretty much. So I'm going to stick with Naurdiev. I'm gonna stick with the favorite in this case, but I'm not terribly, you know.
We have picks and we have bets, and it's a pick,
I'm
not a bet.
not convicted, let's say.
Next fight of the night, I think this one will be exciting and probably fairly short. We've got Ibo Aslan, 13-1, 13 knockouts. So definitely a finisher versus Rafael Cerqueira, 11-0, ton of finishes as well. Somebody's going to get finished. It's not that Aslan's very great. He's not whatsoever. But I've seen more of him. He's fought in the UFC. I'm not overly familiar with Cerqueira's level of opposition. When I'm looking through his resume here, it's a lot of names I don't really recognize. But hey, I mean, when you got two finishers, uh, like either guy can change the fight with one shot. So they both have a chance. They're both live for a reason. I'm just gonna lean Aslan for the pick. What do you think?
Yeah, well, Aslan bit me in the ass last time because he beat what to Crawley, and I said, oh, it's gonna be like the first time they fought, but no, Aslan, he does slow down, but he showed me a little bit more than I expected out of him. So I expect a little bit more here, him having all the experience on his side, and this fight being surely pretty lined pretty closely. You know what I mean? Um, I still think he both guys pack power. Um, Aslan had been known to kind of gas as he gets past the first round. Cerqueira, I mean, the level of experience is just it's not up there. He's not fought that great a level of experience, but again, this is not a convicted bet, but I'm gonna go with Aslan as the favorite in this case, just because this is an experience bet, and but like shit, man, the way these guys fight, the under 1.5 might be the best bet in the whole fight.
Yeah, wait for the props and get some extra value
Yeah,
because it ain't going the distance.
I don't think so either.
Next fight of the night, we got Renat Fakhretdinov, 23-1 versus Carlos Leal, 21-5. Leal's actually a good fighter. Not too many people know of him, but he is a well-rounded guy. He's a big guy. He's strong. He can grapple. He can strike. I was convinced Renat was way better than he is. And then his last few fights, he's shown he's more human than we thought. I mean, he showed a suspicious gas tank. I think it was against Nicholas Dalby. Body shot seemed to really hurt him. And he's even shown that his takedowns aren't as good as we thought they are. I still do favor him. I think he's just such a strong starter. But he needs to redeem himself. I've lost. I don't have that super high confidence that I had on him in the past. Like I was convinced this guy was going to go somewhere. I don't think he's going to be no champ anytime soon or anything like that. But the pick would be Renat Fakhretdinov here. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know because like that Brian Battle fight, you're like, oh man, he has such good wrestling. He takes guys down. He held him down. I guess held him down when he got him down for, but he still had to take him down like 10 times, right? You know what I mean? Obviously, these guys are getting up. That last fight, who was it? He took him down 5 times in that fight, and it was Dalby, like you said, and Dalby
And
looked,
there's another one. I think it was Dos Santos or
yeah,
whatever. He
the
looked
Dos
like shit
Santos
in that
fight too,
fight.
right? So like, yeah, he's got takedowns, but the ground control isn't as great. And like you said, Leal is a little bit better than what people are going to give him for here. I'm not saying to go pick Leal on this fight because I don't have any odds in front of me, and I think that's the big thing, right? I've been backing Fakhretdinov at these minus 300, minus 400 odds, right? Like, and I don't feel like that this is a spot to back Fakhretdinov at minus 300 plus. So I don't know what the odds are here. I'm gonna say Renat wins this fight, but like, man, if it's too wide, I don't hate Leal in this spot. I don't because nobody expects him to do anything. So if they want to throw you a minus 550 line or minus 600 line, so some line that's really whack when it all comes down to it, then go with the underdog. And I'm not going to hurt nobody for going to play making an odds play on this fight.
I actually don't see the odds on Bet365 for this one. Maybe it's
Yeah, not yet. It's not out yet. But like I said, man, if they're too wide, I mean, Fakhretdinov is not a good minus 300, minus 400 guy. You're
no,
shitting
not
your pants. Like that Dolby fight, I'm shitting my pants. And I don't want to do that with a freaking large favorite anyways. So
yep. Next fight of the night. I think this is actually one of the more boring fights because it's Fareed Basharat, 12-0 versus Victor Hugo, 25-4. This is one of the fights I'm looking forward to the least. Honestly, I find Basharat extremely boring. Victor Hugo, decent. I mean, good submissions and all that, but I don't think he's going to catch Basharat from the bottom. Like I think Basharat will be the one that will be on top. I don't think Basharat's going to be able to submit him either. So I think this is a classic Basharat decision, but he's minus 500. There's no value, and I think it's a boring, grinding kind of fight. So Basharat by decision is my pick. What do you think?
yeah, I'm the same on that one. This is the good boss shot, I guess. That's what they want to say. But like he should at least get a couple takedowns. He should at least have some control. His control is pretty decent as compared to a Renat when we were talking about last time. At least Basharat, when he takes guys down, it's like 3 times a fight because guys aren't getting up on him. That last fight, he had 5 takedowns against Taylor Lapilus, but Taylor Lapilus is has a decent get up game. We saw that before. So, and Taylor Lapilus, by all means, is a pretty good fighter at the same time, right? So, yeah, Victor Hugo was a Pedro Falco. Yeah, and then he had the Dana White Contender Series fight. And that was a submission by knee bar. And if you're really looking to submission by knee bar, the Claudio Puelas syndrome doesn't always work in this nowadays UFC, especially against a guy like Fareed Basharat, who's got pretty damn good grappling. So yeah, I actually think Fareed's probably the better striker too, as well. I mean, if I've seen him put up volume when he has to, so I'm going with the experience. Fareed by decision is probably what I say too.
All right, next fight of the night, we got Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett, 12-5 versus 23-8. Kennedy's moving up in weight to heavyweight, which normally could be alarming, except this is not a fight where he's outsized. It's not a fight where Chris Barnett's not going to be able to bully him or outmuscle him and out grapple him or anything like that. This fight's going to mostly take place on the feet. Probably the whole fight takes place on the feet. And Kennedy's just the longer, rangier, quicker, better, more technical striker. I think Kennedy could always be in trouble against someone with real one hitter quitter type power, but that's not even Chris Barnett either. So Chris Barnett's completely fucked here. The odds I think are like minus 700, which actually seem accurate. I don't think those are bad odds at all. But obviously I won't be playing any minus 700s. I think maybe there's a world that hey, Chris Barnett's a tough guy, and maybe if the decision line is some kind of plus money, maybe you play that. But I mean, this is a fight that Kennedy should win all 3 rounds, quite easily. I think. What do you think?
Yeah, whatever. Chris Barnett stinks. You got out these. Yeah, I don't think it's not gonna work here. he does all this flippy Samoan fucking shit in there. He's pretty athletic, I guess, for a big fat guy, but like I'm not too high on Kennedy either. He's the same guy that lost to OSP, right? So because he doesn't do enough sometimes, but I don't think doing enough is going to be a big problem here. I think the power is probably on Kennedy's side. He's got the reach. Even if this is a 65 to 40 striking battle, really slow paced or whatever, I still think Kennedy does it. It's not like Chris Barnett's going to take him down. I don't think Kennedy's going to go for takedowns, and I think he's probably just going to strike at range. And yeah, Kennedy and Nzechukwu to whatever. I don't know. I don't know, even know if he knocks him out, but
All right, next fight of the night, we got Abus Magomedov, 26-6-1 versus Bruno Ferreira, 12-1. Uh, Battle of the piss poor cardio. Abus Magomedov came over, a lot of hype, and he's pretty much disappointed in every single fight he's been in. He always generally has a pretty good round one where he looks pretty good, then he falls off a cliff, and I don't know if it's chicken heart or just shit cardio or what it is, but he can't last. He's not meant for the long game. And then you got Bruno Ferreira, who's a fucking ball out of fucking fired out of a can. Like he comes out guns blazing. He's fucking knocks everybody out early, or he gets in trouble later on too. I mean, technically he only has the one loss, but you have seen his cardio fade. Like so, both of these guys could fade big time. Both these guys are early. Or sorry, they're both strong early on. I do think Abus is the more technical fighter, like the more technical striker, I think, but Bruno has the power. So that's obviously the great equalizer. I don't fault anybody for the Bruno dog pick. I think that's probably going to be the fan friendly choice here. But I actually think Abus will not get knocked out in the first round, and that's kind of how Bruno wins. And I think he'll just kind of out technical him for the rest of the fight. So give me Magomedov, but I don't like the guy, and I would not be putting money again. Bad cardio. I wouldn't be putting money on this. Um, and I get the Bruno knockout pick if that's where you're going. What do you think?
I I'm gonna take the Bruno knockout pick because a boost and for all intents and purposes against Warley Alves in that get right fight for him. Buddy, if it wasn't for his wrestling and his control on the ground, he doesn't win that fight. And because that fight on the feet was gross, close, gross close, if you know what I'm saying. Like it shouldn't have been that close, right? We're talking about a guy that was up against I won a round off of Sean Strickland, right? We're talking about that kind of guy who just that's the guy we're talking about, but nope. I don't know, man. I just I have nothing really much. Bruno Ferrero is not great by any means, but I feel like he catches him here. Um, he has the power to do it. I think the problem with Abus is I think he has to sort of strike in that first round, or else he's gonna just cardio dump himself out of that fight, right? If he goes for the wrestling straight away, I don't think he takes him down right away because Bruno in that first round is pretty damn tough. I think as the fight goes on, he could take him down because Bruno also I can't see a guy holding that pace for the whole fight. You know what I'm saying? But like in that first round, it's going to be very touchy to try for him to try to go and get those takedowns. I mean, I can see elbows to the side of the head. I can see him getting caught on the entry. So yeah, man, I'm gonna make a small play on Bruno just because I want to do it. But yeah, that's my take on that one.
Yeah, I hear it. All right, next fight of the night, we got Mikit Beck Orolbai, 13-1 versus Mateusz Rebecki, 19-2. Honestly, kind of similar fighting styles to a certain degree. I mean, they both want to get in tight, outmuscle you to the ground, and then pound you out on the ground and beat you up, just outstrength you. Rebecki came in really, really strong in the UFC. He had some fantastic performances, was just steamrolling guys. And then the last couple of fights, he's looked like shit. He looked like he has big cardio issues, and I don't think you're going to want to have cardio issues against Orolbai. So I suspect what might be a close first round ends up being Orolbai just fucking outworking him, taking Rebecki down. And I just think Orolbai is the more durable guy. Like I'm not saying Rebecki's not durable, but like I don't think Orolbai is getting knocked out. So I think Rebecki at some point is going to slow down. Orolbai is going to take over. So I'd be looking at an Orolbai knockout decision, double method, something like that. But I'm on the Mick at Beck side. What do you think?
Same actually, because basically, like, if anyone knows, Rebecki is like a short, little, stumpy guy. He's got a 66-inch reach, and then Orolbai's got a 74-inch reach. Not that these guys are going to be standing at kickboxing range, but if you want to beat Orolbai, I don't think on the ground is how you really beat Orolbai. I think you got to beat him on the stand-up, right? And I just don't think Rebecki can get to him. Is he going to enter the pocket? Well, when he enters the pocket, what's going to happen? Orolbai is going to try to go take him down, right? Just zap that gas tank. Like, I was on Diego for our last fight. I cashed a big plus 350 ticket on Diego. I just so something happened before that fight, and Rebecki looked very, I don't know, human, I guess, compared to, but like it was a step up in experience, right? If you look at the guys that he was going up against, Roosevelt Roberts, Loic Radzhabov, who's not even that bad, but like there's other guys before it that he was going up against, and it's just he looked like he's steamrolling these guys. Nick Fiore, and then he steps up to Diego Ferreira, who's probably on the same
It's
level as
good.
Orolbai, probably better because he's fought in the who's of the division, right? So yeah, man, if you're gonna beat Orolbai, it's gonna be by striking. You can't, I don't, if you can't get close to him, I don't see how it works. So, and with the gas tank problem, you're getting taken down.
Next fight of the night, we got Jeff Hands of Steel Neal, 15-6 versus Rafael Dos Anjos, 32-16. Obviously, RDA, absolute legend. I mean, you could probably argue that he's more well-rounded fighter, I guess. Like he's a better submission grappler for sure. He's a pretty good little boxer himself. But I mean, even though he's kind of made welterweight his home. He's kind of undersized. Not that Jeff Neal's a huge guy. Not well, I mean he's a muscular guy for sure, but he's not way taller. He's not gonna dwarf him on the stand up. But I think his hands are just much better. Good takedown defense, so he's not gonna get taken down. I don't think. Uh, Durable. Like everything seems to be in Jeff Neal's favor here. I mean, I just think he keeps it standing and he outboxes him. I think it's a bad matchup for RDA. I don't. I have a very difficult time seeing a path for RDA to win this fight. So give me Jeff Neal, faster, stronger, better hands. Yeah, knockout decision for Jeff Neal. What do you think?
Yeah, Jeff Neal too, but man, fucking RDA only wins fights usually if you can get the guy on the ground as part of his game plan, and Jeff Neal is probably not going to get taken down here. My only issue with Jeff Neal is probably the same issue we've had over the years with Jeff Neal, buddy, is that fucking volume is never
Volume.
always that. So when it's there, he fucking cruises. When it's there, he's like a Vincente Luque, he cruises. That fight right before Luque, who was it? Jesus Christ. It was another one. Ponzinibbio, when he's got enough volume, he cruises. When he doesn't throw enough volume, like 69 against friggin' Shavkat, he doesn't cruise. Against 46, he was gun shy against Machado Gary. He doesn't cruise, and he made that look damn close, even though he lost the fight. So that's my only issue with him. I hate the odds minus 334, but I think he wins the fight. And let's go on to the next one.
All right, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. We do appreciate it. Shara Bullet Magomedov, 14-0 versus Armin Petrosyan, 8-3. I think I'm on the dog here. I think I'm on Armin Petrosyan. I don't think Shara Magomedov has looked good at all. I know people like the way he looks. They like his one eye, the gimmick, whatever. I mean, it's not a gimmick, but they just like he looks like a fighter. So he's fan friendly, whatever. But he really hasn't looked good at all. Nothing he's done has impressed me. He appears to be a good kicker, but his hands don't look like anything special at all. He hasn't been finishing any, like even his one stoppage or whatever was shit. The volume's not great. He's always backing up. Obviously, his takedown defense is no good, but that shouldn't matter here. I honestly, I could see him getting outstruck here. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like this, he could win. I get it, but I'm dying to fade the guy, and I think Armin's usually good if he doesn't get taken down, and he's not getting taken down here. So I find myself leaning Armin Petrosyan. If the odds get wide, I will be on Arm. I'm pretty sure Armin's the dog, and if he hits a good number, I will be hitting him. What do you think?
I'm the same on this one, actually. Shara has never taken anyone down in his UFC stint, and he's taken down three times twice, so two separate times. Even in that last fight against Mikhail Olajaychuk, who's sometimes all the guys that fought him will just take down Mikhail and fucking take him down and get him on the ground. Now Mikhail's taking you down, bro. That's not a good look. And so this comes down to volume. I think he can throw kicking volume, but I don't know about fucking punching volume, to be quite honest with you. Armin's won a couple fights against some up and comers. Christian Leroy Duncan comes to mind. And I picked him in that fight against a guy that everyone thought was more well-rounded than Armin. And Armin's a very good kickboxer. You know what I mean? He won that fight against RoboCop, and he got taken down in that fight, but he was the more busier guy. And I see that here. He's probably going to hit the better shots, but I also don't think that this fight finishes, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go Armin by decision for this one.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Next fight of the night, and I think this could be one of the more interesting and relevant fights on the card for sure. We've got Magomed Ankalaev, 19-1-1. Everybody kind of thinks he deserves the title shot already, but really he kind of doesn't. He's really only fucking beat Johnny Walker. He had a title shot and he drew with Jan Blachowicz. Whether you thought he won or not, it doesn't matter. So I mean, for me, he's kind of a big fucking crybaby, and yeah, whatever. And then we got Alexander Rakic, 14-4, who appears to have all the tools in the world. Like he's a very, very good fighter, but he's kind of chinny. The problem is he's winning fights until he gets dropped. Um, I think the whole world thinks Ankalaev is going to knock him out, but I don't think Ankalaev is the most deadly, lethal striker in the world. I don't think he hits as hard as some of the guys that have put Rakic out. So I think this fight could be a lot closer and more interesting than people think. I think Rakic has heavy leg kicks, and Ankalaev didn't like the leg kicks from Jan Blachowicz in that fight. So I could see Rakic having a lot of success with those leg kicks. Like at these odds, I believe Ankalaev is like a minus 400. For me, I'm very tempted to that Rakic could play spoiler here, and that this fight is closer than we all think. Um, I don't know. I truly think Rakic has a chance in this fight. And I would love to see it. I hate both guys, truth be told. I'd love to see a double knockout, but I would love to see Rakic spoil Ankalaev's title shot. And I'm gonna be watching this line. If it gets any wider, I mean, it's already wide and tempting for me. I think Rakic has a better chance than people think. What do you think?
I think he has a better chance than people think. I just don't think he's gonna pull this off. Like honestly, like this is Ankalaev's chance right here. He wants to talk all the shit. He wants to talk everything and go back it up, son. That's basically what it is, right? So Rakic, when he fought Yuri in that last fight, I still picked Yuri, and I feel like Yuri lost the first round, but Yuri's Yuri, right? So let's put it this way: Rakic, he's not going to take Ankalaev down. He's not going to grapple with him. That's not the way to go. I think Ankalaev can take him down. And striking wise, Ankalaev is pretty technical. I would like Ankalaev to throw a little bit more volume. And yeah, where I do like, and I know that you said it's closer, I'm still picking Ankalaev, but I do think this is a decision worthy over 2.5 sort of fight. Like this looks like it's going to be a little bit more slower paced, and it's going to be a big shot. I don't think Ankalaev has as big shots as like you think, and I think he might grapple here, to be honest with you. Something's telling me that he might grapple here a little bit. So I'm picking Ankalaev, but I'm going a little outside the box. I'm going to take Ankalaev by decision, which would probably give you pretty decent odds at this point. Nothing hasn't dropped, but like picking him minus 400 is pretty stupid, and I just don't see him knocking him out. So yeah, I'm on the decision for Ankalaev, and especially if it's like my plus 300 or something. Yeah, sign me up. Plus 250. Because usually they think these fights finish at light heavyweight, right? You know what I mean? So I should get a good number on this. So
And I know Ankalaev does have a lot of finishes, but there's a lot of fights too, where like you said, his volume can be very low. Him and Santos, that was one of the most frustrating fights I ever seen. Like there's times where he just kind of yeah, like
what
I
about the
think
Nikita Krylov fight? What about that one too,
yeah,
right? That one too.
yeah.
Put that one to decision.
I don't know where the hell Nikita Krylov is, man, because I think that guy's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, so he took that Nikita Krylov. Everyone thought that Nikita Krylov fight was gonna go to the fucking gonna finish because Krylov has no gas tank, blah 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 blah, but whatever. He grappled.
All right, and then strange order here because right now the featured fight is Lerone Murphy and Dan Ige. So I think those two fights should probably switch places. But regardless, I think kind of the whole world probably wants Dan Ige to win. I mean, he's got good hands, short, powerful guy. Definitely hits hard as hell. He's probably the finishing upside here. But I think Lerone Murphy is just too long, too rangy, probably too fast, a bit more technical, all those things. I think Lerone Murphy wins this fight by decision. That's going to be my pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Little Murphy wins by decision. Um, to be quite honest with you, that last fight by Leron Murphy with the Edson Barbosa, he looked exceptionally good, man. He looked exceptionally good, probably career best. I know it's Edson, but like just to outstrike Edson fucking 220 to 80 in the 5 round fight, 220 in 5 rounds. You can say I always complain about the 103 rounds, but 220 in five is fucking really good. And we add 4 takedowns and add the amount of control and how well rounded he looked. I mean, Danny Ige, you're hoping for that fight like he had against our boy there. His last fight, what's his name? The guy,
Lopes.
yeah, Lopes. That's the kind of fight that Dang Ige needs to keep this at to have a shot at. But I mean, if Laurent Murphy is pacing himself like that last fight, then he's just gonna overwhelm with the overall game. So yeah, give me Laurent Murphy as the more well-rounded fighter here because he can grapple. And I just don't think Ige is gonna grapple, obviously, because he's not a grappler. But you know what I
but
mean? He's probably the better striker. Maybe he has the more power, but I think Laurent Murphy has some head and power. And you got to remember that Murphy's built like a truck, right? So
I think Ige is just super durable, so I think decision is the play.
1000%. Another decision. There's too many decisions on this, but yeah.
Co-main event of the evening. Everybody is probably skeptical if this fight will even happen because it's got Khamzat Chimaev, the pull-out master. But we got Robert Whittaker, 26-7, Khamzat Chimaev, 13-0. This is actually a 5 round fight. I know Khamzat wanted it to be 3 rounds, but it's five. Khamzat very suspicious cardio, so I think I will be waiting for the props, and it's going to be some kind of under for me personally. I think Chimaev can knock Whittaker out or possibly submit him, but I think more chin, like maybe a club and sub or just rock him really early. I think Chimaev wins really early, or he's going to get knocked out himself. I mean, Whittaker does have very good takedown defense, so there is um, that that side you could say, and it makes sense. Whittaker, master of stuffing takedowns, and he should be the more technical striker here for sure. I just don't trust Robert's chin. And, Chimaev is a very fast starter. And even though I don't like Chimaev whatsoever, and I don't think he's a great striker by any means, he is powerful. So that power, that speed, that pace, I think he can find the chin early. Like I think he could get Robert out of there early, or he's in big trouble. So I'll be rooting for Robert Whittaker, but it's actually almost better for the division if Chimaev finishes him or something. Like, do we really want to see another Whittaker title shot? Not really, but he's a cool guy. I get it. I always root for the legends, for the older guys. So the heart will be with Robert, but I think Chimaev's going to find him early. What do you think?
What do you say every time Robert Whittaker fucking fights? This guy gets wobbled every single time I see him. And he does, man. Even in the Paulo Costa fight, he was wobbled a little bit. Was it the first end of the first round or where was we were at the bar watching that one? I can't remember when it was, but he got wobbled in that one, but he came back, right? You got to realize Paulo Costa's an idiot and just doesn't push any kind of pace. But so I can't see that happening here, man. I'm skeptical about Chimaev, but if you like look at their body of work, he's probably the better prospect at this point in their careers. And he should be faster. He should have more power. He should probably be able to still take Robert down, even though Robert has, you know, it's everything like Dricus Duplessis, right? So it's when Dricus fought Robert, what he did, he pushed the pace, he took him down, he knocked him down. Like, so it's the same thing I see. I have to go with Chimaev in this spot, but
By finish.
I'm not going to argue with anyone that wants to pick Rob, but I feel like he gets chinned. But let's just go to the main event where I actually have a good take.
All right, the main event of the evening. We've got Ilia Topuria, 15-0 versus Max Blessed Holloway, 26-7. Honestly, for all the shit Ilia Topuria gets, the guy's badass, man. He's a good fighter. He is a scary dude. Is he a bit cringy? Sure, but we're giving a guy a hard time when we haven't had a featherweight finisher like this like ever. The guy is a brutal man. Scary, scary power, very fast, and he hasn't even been using his grappling, but he's always got that in the back pocket as well. He is a very good grappler. I mean, he started as a grappler, and he's just developed the fast hands. On the feet, kind of one dimensional. I mean, he doesn't really use the kicks. He just he hits hard and he's got fast hands and it works. So why change it up? It works for him, so I can't really criticize it. And then you got Max Holloway, volume, range, chin, all the things that make this fight interesting. Obviously, Topuria, the one time he's been rocked and in trouble was against a lanky striker who had the reach on him. So yeah, it was a kick. It wasn't the hands, but still, he didn't. So one time he looked human. What was when he didn't when he was outsized, when he was the much shorter guy. So Holloway could do that with the volume. And Holloway has the chin, which maybe if he gets caught with one big punch, because that's kind of how Elia wins. If it doesn't put him away, like Max just gets back on the gas potentially and just gets back onto popping that jab out there. So it's super interesting. Um, I mean, it seems like if Elia doesn't knock him out, that he would get out volumed and outboxed by Max. Because honestly, I don't think the grappling is going to be there for him. Even though Max looks like a broomstick, he's actually got pretty good takedown defense and pretty good grappling himself, defensive grappling. He's not bad by any means. So I think it plays out on the feet, and he's got a granite chin. And if Elia doesn't knock him out, is he going to decision Max Holloway with volume? I don't think so. Does he win with damage? Maybe. I mean, Volkanovski obviously decisioned him 3 times, but I think Volkanovski was more volume. I don't think Ely is like the high volume guy. He's the power guy. He's the moment winner versus the minute winner. So I, I get that Ely is the favorite. I get all of that. Super dangerous. I actually do like Ilia Topuria. I love Max Holloway. And if Max hits like that, plus 300 territory, I probably will jump on Max Holloway. Um, yeah, I don't know. The hearts with Max Holloway. I think he has a way better chance than people think, and I think his style just matches up very well. If his durability can hold up, it's gonna be a tough fight for fucking Ilia Topuria, man. And if Ilia knocks out Max Holloway, this guy's the fucking baddest featherweight we've ever seen in our life. Like fucking. So if he knocks out Max Holloway, all the respect in the world to him. I mean, I already do like the guy. I already respect him, but if Max Chin holds up, Max can win this fight. What do you think?
So only one time, aside from that Yusuf Zalal fight in his first fight, did he ever go to sort of a decision. It was against Josh Emmett, and he ended up throwing 152 strikes to 87 in that fight. But there's a couple things in context. Josh Emmett severely slowed down as that fight went on to the five rounds. You know what I mean? Is this one only 3 rounds though? No, it's
No,
a
it was five.
campaign
It was
fight, right?
five.
So it's five
It
round
was
too.
five.
So like, so Josh, you could see the plummet in his cardio as that goes on, and Ilya was able to get stronger because like he looked like he was losing cardio as well. But against Josh Emmett though, he was still the better fighter. So 152 in 5 rounds is pretty good, right? But Max regularly throws way more than 152 in 5 rounds, right? This is the same guy that threw 444 against fucking Calvin Qatar, right? So 181, 147, 199, 230. So, like you said, man, the volume is definitely on Max's side. And if the fight is going shit, man, if the fight goes into the third round, I don't think Ilya is got the goods to knock him out in the later part of this fight. It's got to be happening in the beginning of this fight. I don't think Max is not gonna. I think Max's cardio is better than Ilya's cardio. I think Max's volume is better than Ilya's volume. I think Ilya is one of the greatest finishers I've ever seen in this division. But I also know that that Volkanovski fight was quite questionable to that point until he knocked him out. He got outstruck in that Volkanovski fight where he looked very good and it was 47-35, right? And this is an older Volk, and up until that point, Ilya stays patient, and tries to hit, right? So one knockdown in Max's entire career, and it was a shitty knockdown against I think Justin Gaethje it was, and he got up right away. Never, the chin's never been wobbled. We talk about Robert Whittaker being wobbled. This guy's never been fucking wobbled, and he's been hit in the face a ton of
Wow.
times, right? I fucking can just list him in the fucking thing, man. He's sitting with an 85% takedown defense, and we're talking about a guy that's been in the fucking UFC for the longest of times, right? So this is like 10 to 15 fights. That's the resume he has, and he's only been taken now 15% of the time, right? And it's usually a one-off. So Ilya likes to go to the wrestling when he sort of like it gets out like the Yusuf Zalal fight. He took him down 5 times and tried to control him because for as much Yusuf Zalal is actually a really good fighter, to be honest with you, right? And he too has a granite chin, and he too is very durable, almost the same as Max. So listen, man, I think Max wins the long game, but if somehow Ilya can grapple, that's his that's plus 225 max. I am throwing some money on it because I will never get Max Holloway at these odds. And I think it's actually wide, to be quite honest with you. I think this fight is like if Ilya was like a minus 150 to minus 175, I'd be like, okay, that's all right. That's probably right. He's a champion. Don't disrespect the champion, but plus 225. I think this goes on that Max has lost every big fight in his career that he's ever had. And they're just chalking it up to this, but this is a different beast, right? You got to remember Volkanovski in his prime had some of the best wrestling the division's ever seen, right? So I can't say the same thing for Topuria. Great grappler, but I don't know if the wrestling is the same. Oh, he took down Bryce Mitchell. Big deal. I don't care too much about that shit. He still got floored by Herbert, right? That's one more time floored than I've ever seen Max floored, right? So here's
Yeah,
what
and I mean, and even his knockout of Volkanovski was coming back quick off a knockout to Islam. So I think the knockout's even over. Obviously, it was a vicious knockout, and you can't take anything away from it. He landed the shot, but like that win over Volkanovski, coming off of a Volkanovski that was knocked out, like he might not have any chin left at all.
let's
So
just put it this way. I've never seen the chink in the armor of the chin on Max. So I'm gonna play
exactly.
the durability on that one, and we're gonna go with that, buddy. That's my pick of the day. I'm gonna probably lay the I think it's gonna be a Max decision, but yeah, I'll play them both.
I like it. Well, you can always go knockout decision,
Yeah, it
double
depends on what
method.
the odds are. Plus 225. I'm very happy with that right now. So we'll see what I get for the other shit.
All right, guys, it's a pay-per-view. It's a pretty decent card. So you know what? We will do another episode later in the week for the props, probably Thursday or Friday for sure. But we'll get our favorite bets out there. Please drop us a comment. Let us know what you disagree with, what you agree with. Have a good one. See you soon.